Welcome guys, in this video we're going to make a small guessing game. So, rank up Visual Studio and let's go to File, New Project. Okay, it's a Windows Forms application. Click OK. Okay, so here in the toolbox, let me collapse these nodes. Alright, Windows Forms, and now here we have a label like that. Okay, now to set the text of a label, make sure you can right click and view properties. Okay, right here. So the text, you can change that to something like, for example, enter your guess. Okay. Under that, you're going to put a text box. So scroll through the list. Alright. And then drag and drop a text box in there. There you go. You can leave the default name, right? If you right click and choose properties. See, the text by default is nothing. And if you go through it, there you go. Okay, so the name is the name of the box in code. That's how you refer to it in code. And then on the bottom, we'll have another label. Under the box, we'll place another label that will display some hints. Like that, okay? There you go. And set that text, change that text there and that label to a hint appears here. Okay? And then click somewhere and it shows you, there it is. You see? Alright. Now, when you look in the properties window over here, you see you can arrange this, for example, first of all alphabetically or categorized. And also you can choose the properties or you can choose the events. The events are the things like clicking of the buttons, okay, or a key up, key down, and so on. You see this? These are the events. Okay? There's a huge number of these events. Now if you select the box, make sure the box is selected. Like that. And scroll through the list and choose key up and then choose this. You place your cursor there and hit enter. And now that generates the basic stub for the key up event. Okay? Like that. So private void text box 1 underscore key up. Okay. So I'll drag some code and paste it down below. Comment that out. And let's walk through the construction of this code. Okay, so first of all, if the text box 1, the text length, okay, so when text length is not equal to 0, okay, will work, right? But if the text length is equal to 0, let me scroll down to this code that I made. And we're going to say, okay, so if there's something there, you're going to say double y equals 7. Okay, now I'm fixing the value we're guessing against. We're going to guess and see how close we can get to 7 and so on. Okay, you're going to do this. Next, you're going to say double guess equals and then double that parse and then text box 1 that text. So just as in the console, all the stuff that you learned carries over here. Okay, there you go. Now you're going to do this. If the guess that you enter is more than 7, okay, and further, if the difference between the guess and y, which is the value of 7, right, if that is less than 1, like that, we'll write label 2 dot text, and then you're going to say here your guess is high but close. Okay, so we are arbitrarily deciding that if you're above 7 but within 1 unit of 7, we're calling that high but still close. Right? On the other hand, if you enter something above 7 and more than 1 away, you're going to do one else here. You're going to say label 2 dot text, and then you'll say your guess is high and far. Close that with a semicolon. Okay? Like that. Okay, let me delete this code here. Now, on the other hand, else if the guess here is less than 7, okay? We have to handle that individually, we will say. And further, if the difference between y and the guess, and again, closeness is arbitrary here, right? I'm deciding it's within 1, that's considered close, is less than 1, then you will say label to.text equals, and now you'll say your guess is low but close, like that. On the other hand, you can say label to.text, okay, and then you'll say here below and far. Okay, so if you're below and more than 1 away below, we consider that far. Okay, that's arbitrary, but it's fine. Okay. And lastly, you can say this, and then we'll say label to.text, and we'll say here right. Well done. Close out the semicolon. Delete that. There you go. Okay, so this is our logic here. Right click here and then organize the using and remove them. So you can remove these here too. There you go. So remember, this is within form1.cs as in the previous video in the text editor. Okay, we are not touching the other features. All that stuff is automatically generated. It's best left alone. Now, so remember the logic. First of all, you got to make sure there's something in the box, right? If that's not equal to 0, okay? We're going to do this. We're specifying 7, so we're guessing against this value of 7. If it's more than 7 and not more than 1 away from 7, then we'll call that high and close. On the other hand, if it's more than 7 and more than 1 away from 7, we'll call that high and far. The other possibility is, if it's less than 7, but not more than 1, then we'll call that low and close. Or it's less than 7 and more than 1 away, we'll call that below and far. Okay, here, let me change that to your guess is low and far. Lastly, of course, maybe you hit it on the head, and then we can say you're right and well done. So that looks like this. Okay, so let me give all of this a build. Alright, now you may think, how do you run an application like this with the debugger? Because this stuff obviously gets very complex. You can still go with debug and step into as before. Okay? There you go. So it goes into static void main. That's nothing new. And if you go on a call stack over here, it tells you what's loaded in memory. See that? Even though it's a graphical app, do that. Run the new form1. Go through this, right? Public form1, the constructor. Then initialize all of the components. That means all the graphical user interface stuff that we've added. Right? Add the event handlers. There you go. And there it is. You see, so it still goes through a very similar cycle as with graphical, as with just console apps. Enter some value. Enter 8. Okay, when you enter 8, as you can see, now it takes this form here, right? And on the call stack, as you can see, you have the text box 1_key up. That's what's on the call stack right now. Okay, and it's going to come over here. It's going to check this condition. Okay, it's going to check, right, that condition, and then it says your guess is high but close, right, within 1 unit. All right, now I don't know, enter 7.7, right, and then it works like this. You see? Oh, let me just, I mistakenly, let me start that. mistakenly typed a dot over here. Okay, so let's go through it one more time. Okay, so enter 8.9, and it says your guess is high and far, so working as expected. Enter 7, it says you're right, well done. Enter 5.6, it says your guess is far and low and far. And then lastly, enter say 6.8, and it says your guess is low but close. Okay, so all that functionality is working exactly as it should. That was my mistake. I pressed something on my keyboard here. There you go. So this is in the sidebar as a PDF. Make sure you code it, go through it, make sure it's working as expected. And what you've just learned about are some basic events. So if you click here, right, in the properties window, you can right click a box and choose properties like that. And then remember, here you have the categorized view for events. You have the alphabetized view of events, and then if you switch to this one, you have the properties like that. And again, you can view that either in category form or in alphabetical form like that. And that's it. So thanks very much. And one lesson left. I'll see you in that one.